Good morning everyone, this is Michael with the Gas and Gavel video channel. Today we have a very special review. Today we are reviewing this 2024 VinFast VF3 live here in Vietnam. This VinFast VF3 is finished in a zenith gray with a black cloth interior. This VinFast was introduced in Vietnam in early 2022, and VinFast began delivering actual production models in 2024 to residents of Vietnam. It is 2026 right now. I am filming this VinFast VF3 live here in Vietnam, but the great news is that VinFast, their USA branch, is bringing this VF3 to North American shores, and it will be sold in a year or two for all North American consumers. VinFast did not want to deprive the cuteness of this VF3 electric vehicle from the North American market. So again, this is right now, as I'm filming this, only available in Vietnam, but in a year or two, VinFast USA's will be offering this for sale on North American shores, and I for one am very excited to see it in my own neighborhood in the States. But for now, I'm really gonna enjoy it here in beautiful Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Reviewing this VF3 from VinFast holds a very special meaning to me. I myself was actually born in this country of Vietnam. I only was here for maybe a few months before my parents left the poor economic conditions of Vietnam and came to America, or essentially I grew up. I am 40 years old now, and it took me 40 years to come back to the ground where I came into this life. And when I was planning this family trip back to my homeland, the first thing that I had my eyes set on was finding a VinFast to review for the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel. And I'm very excited to not only share this car with you, but also to share with you my heritage, my culture, my past, and just everything that shaped me. And to show you, not only is this VinFast VF3 a beautiful built car, but also it's built by a company in a country of Vietnam that's also a beautiful, loving, warm, and rich environment. And yeah, I just can't wait to share it with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of this VF3 from VinFast, here live in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The VinFast VF3 went on sale and began accepting deposits in May 2024. After 66 hours, it received over 30,000 deposits. Right now in 2026, as I review this VF3, it is one of the most popular selling cars in the entire country of Vietnam from VinFast. So the MSRP of the VinFast VF3, and I'm gonna do the math for you guys and convert it to US dollars. When the VF3 does go on sale in North America, the estimated approximate MSRP for this vehicle is looking right about $12,800 even. And even if it is delivered to America with a slightly higher price than quoted, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be one of the most affordable, best looking, best value electric vehicles that a North American consumer can purchase beyond 2026. This particular VF3 was designed by VinFast in conjunction with the Gomo Motive Design Studio, which has studios in Melbourne, Australia, and in my own backyard, San Diego, California. The Gomo Motive Design Studio helped VinFast design several other models besides this VF3. They also designed the VF7 and the VF Wild. The VF3 has a range of 130 miles on one charge. VinFast designed the VF3 as a two-door hatchback with 4 seats. It is a small two-door electric SUV designed to be used in urban driving, such as the busy and small streets of Vietnam, or in a city and state in North America, such as New York. The VinFast VF3 is an all-electric mini SUV designed with a very robust, boxy aesthetic according to VinFast, but in my eyes, it's probably one of the most cutely designed, most lovable design shapes of any car that I've seen up to this point. The last time that I've seen a car that elicits like a feeling of cuteness, as if you've seen a pile of kittens that are dropped on top of you, was the Ford Maverick. But I would probably say that the VF3 has taken the title of the cutest car in my book, and I would like to crown, in my opinion, one of the most cutest cars manufactured today in the world is most definitely this VinFast VF3. The North American version of the VinFast VF3 is expected to use a combined charging system, the CCS1 connector for DC fast charging. supporting its capability of charging from 10% to 70% in approximately 36 minutes. This vehicle is designed for quick charging. The VinFast VF3 is a boxy, compact, 3-door electric SUV designed primarily for urban environments, often compared to such other mini cute vehicles such as the Suzuki Jimmy, or in my opinion, here in North America, the Ford Maverick. Its exterior features a very rugged yet retro-inspired design with a very high ground clearance with a lot of boxy yet curvaceous design elements that provides it a aggressive, but in my opinion, a very cutesy, if not one of the most cute car designs in my opinion here in 2026. And I'm sure that when it is introduced in North America, it will most definitely steal the hearts and will most definitely inspire a lot of awes of cuteness from American consumers and worldwide consumers alike. VinFast was founded by Pham Nhat Vuong. This name may not be familiar to you for my North American audiences, but here in Vietnam, he's a pretty big deal. I probably equate him to like the Jeff Bezos of Vietnam. He is essentially one of the wealthiest men or Vietnamese citizens of Vietnam. He's worth of billions upon billions of dollars. I believe it's into the tens of billions. And essentially he started off selling what I believe is essentially he built his empire off instant noodles. Essentially he started a company producing instant noodles, I believe in Indonesia, that took off, that got essentially bought out by some sort of VC or corporate entity, giving him hundreds of millions of dollars, and he took that money and essentially built upon it, creating essentially VinFast Group, or the Vin Group was essentially a bunch of conglomerates of different type of businesses. And eventually, from my understanding, I remember him quoting an article saying that he's very proud of his country and his Vietnamese origins. And as a person myself, I was born in Vietnam, so I do have some sort of national pride, even though I only lived in Vietnam for less than, I would say, 8 months of my life before coming to America and becoming a United States citizen. I love America, but just like America, once America made it, they knew that in order to be a more respected, or essentially I guess maybe a status symbol, every successful country has a automotive manufacturing business. America has Ford, the Europeans have BMW, and here in Vietnam, essentially Pham Nhat Vuong, the richest man in Vietnam, basically said that to show the world that Vietnam is no longer a third world country and is a world leader, they must have a successful international car manufacturing brand. And that is how VinFast was born in 2017. Essentially, he took his billions and billions of dollars and decided, a la Elon Musk style, to start his own car company, hence VinFast. VinFast was launched in 2017 here in Vietnam and expanded to America and the world. In North America, they do sell a few VinFast models, the VS7 and so on and so forth. The VF3 is coming next year, I believe 2027. And yeah, so essentially VinFast is the Ford of Vietnam. And although they are struggling financially, they are sold all across the world. And just like any fledgling car company, they're gonna have to work their way not only into the consumer's hearts, but also to change their corporate balance from losing billions of dollars to making billions of dollars. But either way, the point is that VinFast is a company that is built upon the story of a person who came from nothing and is just very proud of his country. And I hope that VinFast is successful in the future, because there's enough room for all type of car manufacturers from all different cultures and all different backgrounds. There's enough for everybody. So that is kind of like a brief history of VinFast. And when VinFast launched, they started off with electric vehicles, but here now in 2026, VinFast produces not only electric vehicles, they also produce gas-powered vehicles, both in compact size and SUVs, and they also produce, I believe, scooters and Vespas. And from my first time visiting back to my homeland in Vietnam here in 2026, it seems that VinFast also provides essentially all government type of vehicles, from essentially every bus that you take, from essentially every truck. For example, all these cars that are constructing this building here, they're all essentially VinFast models. And that makes sense. I'm sure back then when America was developing and Ford was developing cars, where did the American government buy those cars from? They probably bought from Ford. Same thing here in Vietnam. I'm pretty sure that the Vietnamese government wants to invest in their own, hence why many of the government and public essentially vehicles are essentially VinFast models. From their post office to, again, construction to, again, their public buses. It's just VinFast everywhere. So again, they produce everything, big and small. And if you can't afford a car, you can still buy essentially a small VinFast electric scooter, which I'm probably going to do as a souvenir when I leave this trip. So again, that's a little brief history of VinFast. And I'm sure in whatever country you're in, here and there, every so often you're going to see a car with that V logo, and you're going to wonder what that is. And now you know. V does not stand for Vietnam, it stands for VinFast and their pride in this country, because this country, as the world knows, has been through so much and has affected so many people. But this car company represents the resilience of an entire group of people. And it goes to show that even through war and violence, eventually peace comes, and peace eventually results in the ability for a country to produce cars such as this. Because let's hope in this world that we have more cars being produced and less guns and wars being produced and manufactured. VinFast. Let's take a look at the key that you get when you purchase your 2024 VinFast VF3. And here it is. So as mentioned earlier in the video, the VinFast VF3 is meant to be a car modifier's dream. Not only does the VinFast factory offer a lot of exterior factory customization options, such as body wraps, different OEM or different aftermarket optional wheels, but they also offer this very cool essentially key cover. So underneath the key of your VF3 is the very simple black plastic key with the VinFast logo etched at the top. The owner of this VinFast has chosen to option for this very cool sleek black leather with race red contrasting stitching that protects that plastic key of your VinFast. It is very light, matching the essence of what your VF3 is. The VinFast key features the logo up at the top, and a lock and unlock button, as well as a panic button. And in the back, you do have your V logo with the actual words of VinFast. You cannot see here. As you can see, the owner of this VinFast definitely loves his vehicle a lot, probably drives it a lot, adding wear and tear to the key. But I think it looks great. I think that it's economical, it's functional, and it's simple. And I love the variety of options that VinFast allows its consumers to have, from just a bare bones plastic key to something a little more high-end, depending on the user's preferences. So it's very nice, very functional, and it does everything that a car remote should do and needs to do. And here's the remote that you get when you purchase your 2024 VinFast VF3. Let's begin the exterior tour of this 2024 VinFast VF3, and we'll start with the front end. Let's begin the exterior tour of this 2024 VinFast VF3, and we'll start with the front end. Let's take a look at the headlights of your VinFast VF3. So the VinFast VF3 has two options of headlights. One, a more standard halogen, and a much more expensive and much more better looking LED lighting setup, which the owner of this VF3 had option for. These are your high beam and low beam LED projector headlights. It's housed in a square headlight design with a very cool LED angel eye-ish light strip running around each headlight. And to top it off, if you look very carefully inside of the headlight, VinFast has chosen to paint the housing of each headlight in a very aggressive, race-ready black housing. Very, very nice. And the headlights really fit the design tones of the squarish yet curvaceous exterior design of the rest of the VF3. Working in conjunction with those headlights, in the center you do have your VinFast emblem in the front. Next to the emblem, you do have almost a wing-like design, and this is one of the quintessential VinFast design elements. And that wing of the so-called VinFast center emblem essentially runs into the center of each headlight, essentially connecting visually the driver and passenger side headlight and the center grille and the center emblem into one big, huge, really cool design feature that integrates every important element of any car's front end design, which is the headlights, the emblem, and the grille. And I think at that it looks great, very cleanly designed without being overdone. And and located behind the headlights and that center emblem design, you do have this very cool, if you look very closely, black painted grille, which unfortunately is non-functional, but fortunately that's okay because this is an electric vehicle. There is no motor to cool down. But that faux grille does feature another cool, very subtle, if you look very closely, essentially V designs, essentially V throughout the entire front faux grille, again emulating the V of the VinFast car company's emblem. But I love how cleanly it's designed without being overdone. And from afar, it essentially just looks like any mesh grille or diamond grille that you'll see in any other car design of a front grille. And now underneath the grille and headlight design, you do have a black painted front bumper that is finished in essentially a classy yet economical black plastic finish. But I do like that despite the front lower bumper being unpainted, the space between the headlights and that lower front bumper is painted that body color, giving a nice separation. And I think that's pretty smart to leave that front lower bumper a unpainted black plastic, because again, this car is meant for city driving through sometimes maybe pothole filled streets, and you do not want to damage that front bumper. And by having it unpainted, you definitely do save on paint costs later on in the future. It also gives it a very rugged urban look to the front bumper. The lower front bumper features these functional air ducts on the left and right side, providing an aggressive but also definitely functional vent that sends air essentially through the front bumper to, I assume, cool down the brakes and to provide some sort of better drag coefficiency, making your car again not only go faster but also giving you better mileage out of that compact battery. These are definitely functional front driver and passenger vents. And then underneath all of that, there is a functional grille that again channels air to some sort of, to me it looks like a radiator slash cooler. I assume that is to help cool the battery. So again, a lot of functional design elements in the front lower half of the front end of your VinFast VF3. The front end of your VF3 features a short but nicely angular designed front hood. If you look very closely, there is essentially it looks like a huge double layer bulge, one up top and another down at the bottom, providing a very subtle, aggressive, muscular look to the front hood. And in conjunction with that, to the entire front end of your VF3. So the VF3 does not come with a traditional front trunk storage space like other electric vehicles. For the VF3, the front area is actually occupied for actually useful components to help essentially cool the battery of this VF3 electric car. But from what I understand, there are aftermarket options that allows you to essentially convert the front OEM VF3 front trunk to an actual trunk space that provides you with 100 liters of additional storage space, so you can store extra items such as small bags or charging cables. But to be clear, the front trunk straight from the factory is not a storage space at all, so be aware of that. If you are a person that is indeed looking for an electric car and is looking forward to an additional front trunk space, the VF3 does not have it. The 18.64 kilowatt lithium ion battery can be charged up to 70% of its capacity within a very quick 36 minutes. Great job, VinFast. The front fenders definitely add about a good 2 inches of width to the front fenders. And if we circle to the rear, you also have another body colored front over fender that looks to be about 2 inches wider, giving the boxy VF3 a much more muscular appearance, both in the rear and in the front. Very nice. Let's take a look at the wheel and tire package of your VinFast VF3. And if you've been watching the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel, you definitely see that one of my favorite wheels are most definitely the classic yet economical steely wheels. So the VinFast VF3 comes with these black painted steely wheels that measure 16 inches. They are wrapped in 175, 75, 16-inch tires, but these steelies have a very small distinguishing element that separates it from all other manufacturers' steely wheels. So if you look very closely right in the center, VinFast has stamped their steelies in the center with their V logo right in the center. Very nice. I really like that. One of my favorite wheel design elements are the classic steel wheels. Not only do they look great, they are also rugged and economical. Let's circle on to the back. The rears measure a 16-inch wheel. The rears are wrapped in a 175, 75, 16-inch tire. They are painted that shiny black. You can see the reflection of the sun here in the rear wheel. And in the center, you do have a VinFast logo in the center, essentially reminding you that you do have not just normal steelies, you have VinFast manufactured steely wheels. And behind the 16-inch front steely wheels, you do have ventilated disc brakes. The rear features drum brakes, but the entire suspension behind the steely and those distant drum brakes is a lifted rear and front lifted suspension straight from the factory. And you can definitely see that heightened ride height from the side profile of the VF3. giving it essentially a mini SUV, not only a look, but with the ground clearance to tackle rough and maybe even take you off-road. And that is the wheel and tire package of your 2024 VinFast VF3. The side profile of the VF3 features these very cool black plastic, essentially side skirt that connects that front and rear over fenders, creating a very uniform yet aggressive side profile. All VinFast VF3s are 2-door hatchback 4-passenger cars / mini SUV, and the front and rear doors feature a body color door with a black painted door handle. And attached to that door are these rectangular, manually folding side mirrors that are painted a contrasting shiny black. The front features a huge, for its size, front windshield with 2 windshield wipers. Up top on the roof, you have a very long body color painted roof with a black painted shark fin antenna. And surrounding each front door window, you do have this black window trim, painted a shiny black. The passenger side rear fender features your charging port, and above both rear fenders is this very uniquely designed rear window glass piece that definitely provides a very futuristic look to the VF3, while also providing good rearward visibility and also allowing a little light in for your rear seat passengers. But I think by designing this really futuristic looking rear window, it really gives it a much more modern and curvaceous look to a car that has a lot more boxy feature design elements. I really do like that. That very unique rear quarter window is attached to the rear hatch window of your VinFast. The rear hatch features a tinted, heated rear glass window, allowing great visibility from the rear. The rear end of your VF3 features these the rear tail lights of your VinFast VF3 feature these square-ish halogen tail lights that feature a lower red portion and a upper smoked / clear turn signal. Swing over to the passenger side. Another great design element of the rear taillights is the fact that the entire rear taillights are surrounded in a black painted trim, giving it a nice aggressive contrast in the rear. And just like the front end of the VinFast, in the center you have your VinFast logo in the center, and attached to that center VinFast emblem you have the V's / quote-unquote wings that essentially extend into the center portion of each tail light, just like the front headlights, providing it again that very quintessential VinFast design element of the center V emblem with its eagle wings extending into the tail lights, allowing you to not only recognize a VinFast from afar, but it creates a very cool design element that essentially gives you almost a one-piece tail light design, despite this being essentially like any other normal passenger car with two separate brake lights. The center portion of that VinFast design element is finished in a shiny piano black finish, providing great contrast with that Nardo gray like paint. And just like the front, the rear lower bumper of your VinFast features a black plastic rear bumper. The rear bumper does feature a rear backup camera mounted in the center, and very cool integrated rear mud flaps in the rear to prevent rocks from kicking up to other cars and damaging their front bumpers. The rear plastic painted bumper of your VF3 in the rear features these unfortunately the fake vents, but they do provide a textural elemental design on the left and right side of your VF3. And I think that all these elements combined together just provides a great contrast. So you have that gray colored Nardo like gray roof with that black tinted window, Nardo gray here, you have the black piano finish, a little bit of Nardo gray here, and finishing off with that flat black plastic. Very, very nice. And I'm sure this color combination of light blacks, piano blacks, and whatever color that you choose will look great, whether it's a Nardo-ish gray or a bright blue or a bright yellow. And this entire rear element here is, as a reminder, a hatchback, and it does open all the way, allowing you to have a hatchback trunk-like access. And we'll take a look at the trunk now. And this VinFast VF3 that I'm testing today here in Vietnam features a very, very special exterior design element that most other VinFast VF3s will not have. This VinFast, in the driver's side rear fender area, you do have this silver badge that states Creators Edition. This VinFast VF3 is actually a special Creators Edition. The Creator Edition is essentially a very early batch of the first production VinFast VF3s that were sent to consumers. So essentially, the first 6,868 units produced of the VF3 that were sent to the consumers all featured a one-of-a-kind, essentially Creators Edition that allows the owner and others to know that you are one of the first to commit your money to the VinFast VF3, and VinFast thanks you for your faith in them by again providing you with that very special exterior design element of this Creators Edition. And I'm hoping that that Creators Edition will help retain the value of your VF3. If not, hopefully allowing you to actually maybe appreciate the value of your VF3 in the future, and maybe you could toss that and bring a trailer and actually make some money off your VF3. By the way, that badge is not found on any other VF3s here produced in 2025 and 2026. Let's begin the exterior tour of this VinFast VF3, and we'll start with the front end. Let's take a look at the interior of your 2024 VinFast VF3, and we'll start with the driver's side door panel. And here it is. Here is the door panel of your VinFast VF3. This car is finished in a nice, I like to call it Nardo gray paint finish with a black contrasting interior. The driver's side passenger door of your VF3 features this black plastic door handle up top. There is a cloth trim armrest in the center. You have a small little coin storage slot in front of that armrest. Underneath that, you do have a water bottle slash additional storage space. Underneath that, you have your mesh door speaker. And despite this car being an economical vehicle, one of my favorite design features of the interior is that certain portions of the interior feature, as you can see here, essentially a body colored panel in the front driver and passenger side door that essentially matches the exterior paint color that you choose of your VF3. So it's nice little pop of color for your daily drives. I really like that. That's a really great design element. Down at the bottom, you get VF3 VinFast cloth seat, cloth footrest. And here are your seats of your VinFast VF3. This VinFast VF3 is finished in a black interior, but the seats are finished in a contrasting, essentially dark gray, light gray, khaki design finish. I think that looks pretty cool. It is a cloth fabric, but I really love how VinFast really tried with the different contrasting colors and shapes, and it's all tied together with this white cross stitch running all cleanly throughout the seat. There are no electronic controls for the front seats. They are all manually adjusted via this huge, essentially two-pronged seat controller or seat adjuster. Now let's hop in and see what life is like as a driver in your 2024 VinFast VF3. And here we are. The steering wheel of your VF3 features a leather wrapped steering wheel that features this really cool, almost a exotic car like flat bottom at the bottom of the steering wheel. Very nice. And this entire leather-like steering wheel is wrapped in a white contrast stitching, not only on the steering wheel, but also wrapped around the sides of the airbag area. And in the center of the steering wheel, you do have your VinFast logo in a stainless steel silver. There is an airbag underneath and a very suitable horn for a car of this size. This entire panel is adjustable manually, tilting forward, up and down. To the left of the steering wheel, you do have your windshield wiper control stalks, and to the right is essentially your transmission shift knob. Very simple, very straightforward. Again, this car features a steering wheel mounted transmission shift lever. The VinFast VF3 features a 10-inch integrated touchscreen. There is an integrated rear view camera from the factory. Pretty clear. Everything is touchscreen. Another interesting design element of your VinFast VF3 is the fact that behind the steering wheel, unlike other cars, there is no instrument cluster. Another interesting design element, or lack of design element, is that unlike other normal cars, there is no instrument cluster located behind the steering wheel for the driver to look at. Instead, all of that information is integrated into that, again, 10-inch multimedia touchscreen. So the center multimedia touchscreen doubles up as essentially your instrument cluster, telling your speed, what transmission you're in, and so on and so forth, as well as allowing you to adjust your radio controls. So again, I love that. Save space, everything's integrated in one area, and that's all where you need to look. Underneath all that, you do have driver passenger side soft touch AC and heat controls. The front dash features that tricolor element with the black finish, and then with this lighter colored gray plastic finish, and then the vents are essentially highlighted in a tan like color, again matching that multicolored seat design pattern of your front and rear passenger side seats. Underneath the vents here, you do have your window control buttons. So instead of having the window control switches located traditionally in the door panels, they're located in the center dash area. That is for the driver. The passenger, you have your volume control knob for your audio, and you have emergency light here, and here you have your lock and unlock of your front doors. Underneath that, you have your essentially your climate control buttons, all knobs. I love that. I love analog knobs. Underneath that is essentially what we would call the charging station, with a USB-C port, a USB port, a 12-volt port, and to top it all off, just in case you run out of all those type of cords, you do have a wireless charging station if your phone is so well equipped. Underneath that, you do have a cup holder, and right behind that, this car does not feature a push to start. You do need a key, and when you do want to start your car, you take your key. There's a little slot there. That's essentially your quote-unquote ignition, and you leave the key in there, and all you have to do to start the car is put your foot on the brake, and the car starts right up. In front of the passenger seat, you do have a lockable storage compartment / glove compartment, and a nice little armrest that doubles up as a storage unit. And I like how the essentially this armrest is also adjustable depending on how long your arm is. That's pretty hilarious. And lastly, hidden behind all these equipment is essentially a center channel, because there's no transmission here, that essentially has another hidden charging area with a USB-C port, allowing you to charge electronics. And up top, you have a gray cloth headliner. And up top, you do have a cloth gray headliner with front passenger and driver side visors. Unfortunately, no vanity mirrors for both passenger and driver. And to finish it off, you do have a center dome light and a very simplified rear view mirror. Let's take a look at what life is like for your rear seat passengers in your VinFast VF3. To access the rear seats, both driver and passenger side, you go ahead and open it up. On the passenger side seat, at the lower angle, there's a little plastic tab. You get a little pull, and the front seat will fold right up. And here is the rear seats of your VinFast VF3. And let's hop in to see what it's like. And I'm a regular size, in my eyes, 5'7", male adult of average weight. And damn it, gotta edit that one too. Another really cool design element in the rear seats is essentially there is this center portion between the rear window and the armrest for the rear seat passengers that is essentially painted the same gray color as your exterior of your VinFast VF3. I'm assuming that whatever exterior color choice you choose for your VinFast VF3, this rear center portion will also be painted the exact same color. That's a really nice design element. I really do like that. That's a nice touch. The rear seats feature that same gray slash white slash dark gray cloth material with white cross stitch. The rear seats feature 2 seat belts for 2 adults. And headroom is adequate. Would I say that it's the most headroom? No. Would I say that this is the worst car with headroom that I've been in? No. But again, I'm about 5'7", 5'8", and the top of my head is essentially touching the top of it. It's not super uncomfortable, but again, any taller than a person who may be 5'7", they're going to be very uncomfortable neck-wise in the rear seats of your VF3. But other than that, great leg and knee room for your rear seat passengers. And lastly, you do get this really nice finished carpet at the bottom, and essentially a additional cup holder here in the center. I assume it's the front seat passengers, but I like how they put it back in the center in case your rear seat passengers need to add an additional drink to their other hand, or they're double fisting a big gulp or something. They could put one here and they can put one there and store that additional drink. But other than that, it works and it's functional. And these rear seats of the back bench do fold down flat in order to again increase your trunk space or access your trunk space. And that is the rear seat of your VinFast VF3. So to open your trunk, there is a little button underneath your V. You give it a good pull, and here is the trunk of your 2024 VinFast VF3. And I know what you're wondering, what kind of joke of a trunk is this in your VF3? Okay, so fortunately the rear seats of your VinFast absolutely do and should fold down, but with them not folded down, you have approximately 36 liters of available rear seat space. But if you do fold down these rear seats, which I'm going to do right now, the space of your VinFast essentially turns your cargo or slash trunk space into a full-size trunk that has 10.1 cubic feet of storage space with these rear seats folded down. And to fold them down, you simply give it a nice little pull on these little tabs. Very simple, very easy to do. And here is your entire rear trunk of your VinFast VF3, which is most definitely a very, very generous 10.1 cubic feet of space, considering how small and compact this entire car actually is. So with the trunk open and the rear seats folded down, you can definitely fit a good amount of items here, not only just large and bulky, but also long and thin, whatever it may be. I love how the rear seats are upholstered in a very durable soft touch fabric to protect your back or rear seats when you are storing items on top of it. And a very, very additional cool feature is that underneath this little pull tab, if you get a good pull, there's an additional small little tiny storage space to store essentially what is your home charging port or additional wires to help power up your VF3. There are tie areas integrated to the rear trunk, and the seats fold right back up very easily, and it's actually very light and easy to do with one hand, and you can access that rear seat drop down from both the driver and passenger side. And that is the trunk of your 2024 VinFast VF3. Alright everyone, welcome to this test drive of this 2024 VinFast VF3 here live from Vietnam. It is March 2026 here in this beautiful Southeast Asian country of my birth. Test driving its country's shining star, the VinFast Motor Company. In order to start the VinFast VF3, you essentially put your key into the slot here like an ignition and just put your foot onto the brake. To shift gears, you have a gear shift lever a la old school Chevy Ford vans, and you essentially just click and your transmission and your instrument cluster essentially is all integrated into that center multimedia screen. So let's see what 40 horsepower feels like in this compact two-door, essentially mini SUV. Here we go. So one thing I love about the VF3 is that despite it being only about having a 43 horsepower electric motor, it feels fast because that electric motor has a lot of essentially instant torque. This car is not meant to be a race car. This car is essentially meant to be an urban commuter vehicle driving local streets, and it provides more than enough ample power to drive around in normal local neighborhood speed levels. The acceleration, I would rate a solid 9 out of 10. Again, electric batteries, I love that instant torque, and due to the lightweight and small compact size of this VinFast VF3, the car feels very, very fast despite it having only 43 horsepower. And another great thing, let's talk suspension since we've now hit this dirt road. So earlier we were on a concrete road, and now we're on this dirt road, which is perfect for what this VinFast VF3 is. As a reminder, this car does come with a lifted factory suspension with additional ride height. So me going through these dirt roads and these essentially huge potholes, it's just very, very easy. I'm not worried about damaging the front bumpers or the rear bumpers or hitting anything. Again, this road right here is a perfect example of what the VF3 was meant to do. It was meant to drive on dirt roads, then it was meant to take on simple urban roads efficiently. That is beautiful. I love that. Suspension, 9 out of 10. Let's talk handling. This car is a go-kart. It is light, it is short, and it is wide, especially with those wide fenders allowing for that wider wheels and track. Any turn that you take, it just feels like it goes where it needs to go. Steering, I'm gonna go ahead and make a right turn here. Oh, maybe not here. Again, Vietnam roads is pretty crazy. Luckily here, I'm driving in the quiet neighborhood, and I'm actually gonna stay in this quiet neighborhood because I don't think I'll survive on a major Vietnam thoroughfare. So I'm gonna go and make this right turn here. And with this right turn here, it's just, again, nimble and quick. And I love how there's zero body lean in this VF3. I feel none whatsoever, despite it having, again, a raised suspension. I love that. I love how the raised suspension provides you with that ground clearance, yet it is also stiff enough to drive like a sports car. So it's fun, it's powerful, and again, it's I want to use like useful. It provides utility. So it's a great all-around car. Suspension, 9 out of 10. And when I talk about maneuverability, this car was meant to navigate these type of Vietnamese or Vietnam roads, where it is small, compact. You have to avoid certain areas and elements, such as grandmothers. You definitely don't want to be hitting any grandmothers here, but again, because of its small size, it's very easy for me to maneuver out of these tight, awkward spaces back into the main roads. And if I can navigate this VF3 through these small, compact alleyways, I guarantee you that if you buy this for a North American city like New York, you have no problems maneuvering around. Again, I love the size of this car. Maneuverability, 9 out of 10, all the way across the board. Rear visibility is great. I mean, here, wherever you go, you have to avoid everybody. 360 degrees, you have to avoid animals, you have to avoid everything. But because of the huge open window in the rear, as you can see, despite having a huge pillar in the back, you can easily navigate your way out of these tight situations. And here I go. So I am navigating and literally one-handed. Beautiful. And I'm out. And let's go ahead and let's go ahead and continue. Here we are in beautiful Vietnam. Acceleration is great. So again, overall, I love this car. I'm not trying to be biased because I was born in this country. I genuinely love the VinFast VF3. I think it's a great car. I think it's gonna be very successful in North America. And again, it's just a great all-around car for all your needs. It's fun, it's fast, it provides utility, but most of all, it is just very cute and good looking. And I hope that when it hits North American shores, you guys at least give it a try in their showrooms and give this company VinFast and the country of Vietnam a chance to prove that they can manufacture cars at the level of the legends such as Ford and Toyota. So I hope you guys enjoyed this test drive of this 2024 VinFast VF3. If you guys enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week for more enthusiast, performance, exotic, and possibly electric car reviews. The first pro that I found with the VinFast VF3 most definitely is the very cutesy exterior design. I really love the exterior design of this VF3. A little background, some people are dog people, some people are cat people. I'm a huge cat person, and anytime I run into any sort of cat, stray or otherwise, it elicits this feeling of I really gotta take you home and feed you and care for you and cuddle you. And this VF3 definitely elicits very similar feelings within me. I find it one of the most cutely designed cars of 2026. I'm excited to see more of them when I return home to the United States, when VinFast finally starts selling the VF3 in North America. The last time I found a car cute on the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel was the Ford Maverick produced by Ford, but this VinFast VF3 has definitely taken the cuteness crown. I really love the cute compact design of this vehicle. I love how it's essentially a mini SUV that seats 4, and although it's cute, it also provides a semi-sprinkle of aggressiveness with these over fenders, front and rear, as well as these very uniquely designed rear windows. And I love the front angel eyes slash projector headlights slash this integrated emblem wing of the VinFast eagle in front. Just cute all around. Again, biggest pro of this car, it looks great and is the most cutely designed vehicle that I've seen, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the other consumers both here in Vietnam, in North America, and worldwide will find out soon enough. Again, biggest pro, it looks great in all ways, especially cuteness factor.